Alrighty, welcome to the what do I say again? Oh yeah, Tina, Peter, Albert, Natalie, number 102. I am here in Long Island, in the Plainview region, center action, and it's the 4th of July, 2014. So that means in the United States a lot of fireworks and stuff happen, and I think they've kind of dulled off, but I had this surround sound effect, not speakers. It was real life stuff happening outside, and you could kind of see fireworks all in different directions and stuff. It was kind of cool. I think I was here on a 4th of July a few years ago. I feel like it felt like deja vu for a minute.
All over again.
Same. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think of it. Yeah, it probably was a July 4th or something. So this is Drew. Here we have Drew. And if I don't know if you want to introduce what you do, kind of anything you want to say ahead of time.
Yeah, well, just kind of enjoying the show here. Just have a background in healthcare, switched over from healthcare into app development, and just kind of enjoying a pseudo tech life, and just enjoying the new independence on this very Independence Day. Sorry, I've had a couple beverages. Yes.
No worries, that's cool. So I haven't done, like I was saying a minute ago, off air, I haven't done one of these in a while. I think the last time was maybe the end of March, beginning of April. I've just been all over the place. We've had busy times at Fiddler. I don't even know. I had a funeral in May. I had a conference. Like all kinds of things happened. But I was last week. I said, "Holy cow! Haven't done one of these," and I scheduled for last week, and then I forgot, and then I remembered to reschedule it for this week, and then it was today is Friday. Yes, I was gonna reschedule it for maybe Saturday, but I don't know what's gonna be happening tomorrow night. I thought let's just do it and talk about all the awesomeness that's happened recently, because there's too much to even mention. But one interesting story that I wanted to begin with, which I don't know if it's necessarily awesome, but there was some kind of really cool serendipity that happened with it. And I did make a video of this the day it happened, but it was kind of dark, and I've got some interesting updates to it. So anyway, I was going to the supermarket. I ride my bike all everywhere in Bethlehem, and it was late at night. It was about 1 in the morning. And I passed a skateboarder, a guy on a skateboard. He was riding normal as opposed to goofy, so he was facing the footpath, edge of the road. And I stayed out of his way because I didn't want to spook him. I don't know, what he's up to, how good of a skater he is and stuff. So I kind of went towards the center of the road, passed him, all was good. About 15 seconds later, I heard his skateboard tumble. And I guess it's kind of hard to recollect, but a body tumble as well. So my initial reaction was to look back and see what's going on, and all I could see was a lump on the road. So I was a bit confused, and I looked forward again, so I made, because I was still riding, made sure I wasn't going to run into anything. And when I looked back a second time, a car was coming by, and it was slowing down, so I figured maybe it saw the person in their rear view, was going to stop and check them out. So they were pulling over, and I went and turned around to check it out, and I saw another car going in the opposite direction, slowing down. So there were some people kind of concerned about what's happening. When I went over to the body, the person, he was like a young 20s guy, and he wasn't in good shape at all. He was kind of, and I don't know the correct terms here, someone told me a compound fracture. So he had bone and muscle coming out of one of his legs, getting gruesome here. And he was kind of like pulsing or convulsing. I guess there's some form of shock there.
Yeah, sure.
And I hadn't seen anything up close like that before. So someone was walking over and said, "Are you calling 911?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm calling now." And then this person getting out of their car was already on the phone to the police. And so there's a couple of us relaying the story. The ambulance and the fire trucks came really quickly because Bethlehem's a small town, and there was a fire station on the same block. So everyone kind of turned up really quickly, which was cool. And I recounted the story and kind of told them everything, and they whisked the guy up pretty quickly. One thing they noticed was glass around the guy's neck, which I hadn't noticed because I didn't get that close to him. But one of the other, I guess, witnesses, no one saw what happened. But one of the first people to the scene was getting close to him and helping, like, pushing on his chest. Now I see movies or TV or whatever, and they say not to touch anything because broken things could get worse. So I just kind of stood back. I don't. You think you maybe know what to do in these situations, like take photos of license plates or anything in the area. But my first reaction was to get to the person, and then I'm no health expert, so I just kind of called the experts. And everything died down, and I was talking to the other guy that was that had called the police. A really nice guy. I found out he works at the barber shop, on the same block where I live. Which was cool. I've never been in there before, but now I'm going to go in and say hi from every now and then. And so he got the guy's name, but I didn't know how to spell it, and I was trying to look it up on Facebook, and couldn't really find anything. But then about a week later, because you can't really. I asked the police, can you let us know what happens to him if he survives, and they said that, can't do that, medical privacy. But about a week later, I saw the barbershop guy. I was riding down the street from my place, and he goes, "Yo!" And we chatted for a few minutes. He said he found the guy on Facebook, or he found his sister his stepsister, and he lived next door to the stepsister, and he visited the guy in hospital. He's fine. He had to get titanium rods put in his leg, and the car that I saw was actually hit him. It was like a hit and run, I guess, because by the time I was on the phone to police, that car had already gone. No one had stopped to get out or anything, so it looked like I don't know. When I saw it drive past, I didn't see any damage, but I wasn't really thinking to look for that. I just got the kind of make and model of the car, and telling them that, like, silver Grand Am Pontiac thing. Telling them that was helpful, I guess, and they found the car, but the person driving it wasn't the owner of the car because the owner lent it to a friend, and they can't find the friend, and I don't know what the status is right now because this happened like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Wow.
But yeah, interesting kind of story. How
a lot of dynamics there.
I'm sorry.
A lot of dynamics there. It's.
Yeah.
Do you stop and start to videotape this? Do you try to provide first aid? Yeah, exactly. My initial thought with a lot of things is like getting my camera out or my phone out to record something, but I was more focused on making sure the guy was okay first. Not that I could do anything to assist that other than calling the police. But once, by the time I had a moment to get my phone out, they already had him on a stretcher with his legs kind of with a pole or whatever, like keeping the legs straight. Just stabilize it, right?
Yeah, and so I just got like a blurry shot of him going to the ambulance. So because I was speaking to the police and I didn't want to like disrespect them listening to me, kind of thing. So, and there's also, I don't know if this helped with the investigation, but there's a lot of cameras around Bethlehem, like CCTV, I guess. And
oh, really?
There have been like a few years ago, there was a bridge where there was a guy cycling across it during the day, and a car tried to pass on the right-hand side on the shoulder lane and hit the bicyclist because they didn't see him, I guess, because they were pulling out and going too fast. And they hit him, and he was fine, but his bike was all trashed. And up ahead, there was a bus that I guess saw it all in the rearview mirror happen. So it's only a 2-lane bridge. Like, he blocked the whole road, so the guy who hit the cyclist couldn't get past, and so he blocked him in, and then the police got behind him and blocked him, and he couldn't get out. That's all on YouTube, actually. That whole video, like, because they've got cameras in both directions on that bridge, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, no arguing that. That's you can't argue with that video.
Yeah, right. So I don't know if there are any cameras around where this happened. But if not, it's possible there were cameras, along the same road that probably caught the car coming along, and saw the skater as well. Supposedly the skater had been riding like all the way from the other side of town. Yeah, so that's kind of, I don't know, something exciting.
That's crazy. You should have that story should be a convincing story to let Vidler issue you a standard ordered GoPro that you should be wearing at all times.
I have a GoPro. It's a first gen. I am still not at the point of wearing it at all times. I need to get to that. During the winter, I would have it on my handlebars all the time, and I would usually record my ride to work because there's snow all over the roads, and for the most part, there's no cars, which is great.
Right.
So I would, the speed of getting to work wouldn't be that much slower. You just have to be a little bit wary of slipping on stuff.
Right.
But yeah, I've got a chest mount, I've got a helmet mount. I just got to figure out the best way to do it, and yeah, because you see so many things on YouTube, dash cams and stuff, where they're just always recording, and I think I should probably be doing that with my GoPro.
It always seems to happen in Russia, where these massive car accidents.
Right.
I don't know. Was GoPro created there or something? I mean, it's like a standard issue in everyone's vehicle that every accident that happens in Moscow or some off-road is captured by a dash.
Or a meteorite.
Yeah. That's probably what hit that gentleman. That was it wasn't the car. It was the meteor defense. The guy in Bethlehem got hit by a meteor. It's fantastic.
Yeah, you gotta watch out for those things. They go fast.
It happens a lot in Pennsylvania.
Really? I don't know where we're going with the sarcasm here.
No. It's. I mean, I'm joking that there's a lot of meteors in Pennsylvania.
Okay, yeah, because yeah, I love space and stuff, and if I could find a meteor. What is it? It's a meteorite if it's hit the ground. I can never remember there's like 3 different ways to call the same object depending on where it is in space.
Right.
But what was
sorry to distract you there, but yeah.
Yeah, no.
Maybe it was a drone. Maybe it was a drone hit.
Well, that's a beautiful segue into a topic I did want to talk about. So, Brandon Bautista, who was on an episode maybe back in February, I think I was dreaming of the ability to have a drone or quadcopter. I want someone to figure out the definition, I guess, of drone, because at least in America, you have, like, it's an autonomous thing that goes to the Middle East and bombs people, and that's not necessarily a good thing.
Right.
And a lot of these, like, personal quadcopters or octocopters, or depending how many spinning blades they have, they're also grouped in with drones, which I could see that's acceptable. Like, I was thinking in terms of a car, like you could have a Ferrari as a car, or a Prius as a car, and they're quite different things, but in a sense they have the same function. Like, so I could see drone, but I think a lot of people are like using drone and making it sound scary.
Right.
When they don't need to be. So I had this grand idea a while ago. Is I wish I could have a third-person view recording myself biking to work, biking wherever. And I guess, like, my idea was to have a quadcopter and just, I guess, control it while I'm riding, which wouldn't be too bad because I can ride no hands pretty easy, and I mean, it could be a little bit sketchy. But Brandon messaged me a few weeks ago and showed me this Kickstarter for a quadcopter that can follow you autonomously and it can follow you at any angle, and it can change like trajectories depending on if there's obstacles in the way and stuff.
Yeah.
It sounds amazing, and I've got a couple. I'll link in the notes and stuff. One of them is called the Hexo Plus, which they both are pretty much exactly the same, and it's funny that they're on Kickstarter at the same time. But it'll follow you around. I think it uses your phone, maybe like Wi-Fi / Bluetooth in your phone to follow you. There's another one called the AirDog, which they get a fairly chunky sensor that you just put on your wrist, and it'll follow that through.
Yeah, the Johnny Sacco thing gets right up here. It's like wrapped in some big bulky block or something.
Yeah, yeah.
I saw that.
And I'm 90% sure I'm gonna split it with one of my friends, and because it's like $1,200 for the thing on Kickstarter, and because I can just see so many scenarios of where to use that, like in riding my bike or in a car or something. And it has, it can adjust for wind and things. I was trying to think of a downside to it, and I thought maybe it couldn't be manually controlled, but you can do that as well. So, and you just mount a GoPro on the front, and it folds up, and it looks so cool. I really
has the gimbal, so the shake thing going on.
Yeah, that's
totally into it. It's so rad.
Yeah, it's previously, you see these professionals with the octocopters, and those things are like tens of thousands of dollars, and especially if it has a gimbal on it too. So, yeah, this looks so cool, and I've done GoPros on my ride just for my handlebars and for my chest, but I think having having a third-person view, like especially going across a bridge or something, like that's gonna be sweet.
Yeah, I've been reading a lot. For some reason, I guess the Google is following me around, and I just see all these stories about real estate with with these quadcopters, and I think there was a fail video where the police in LA were using a quadricopter after the LA Kings won the championship. And they were videotaping the crowd, but the drone got so low that someone threw up
I saw that.
A T-shirt or something. They destroyed it and just trampled the
yeah.
I was like, no, that thing is $1,200. It's so gorgeous. Why would you do that? Why would any sane human being do that to a beautiful device like that? But
that's the thing. They're probably not sane. They're watching a sporting event and not thinking.
Right.
So I did read people was claiming it was a police one, and then I read that that's not actually the case.
Oh, really?
I don't know yeah, they were saying that it belonged to police, but that the police denied that was the case. So,
as they normally do.
Yeah, right. We do nothing.
Yeah, no police brutality here. We'll investigate it, but never give you an answer. Right.
Yeah. And still on the quadcopter thing, I saw something today, related to all the fireworks and stuff. There was a video. Let's see if I can pull this up. Just a little clip in the Hangout here. I know there's all kinds of. Let me see, YouTube. It's somebody flew a quadcopter, one of those DJI Phantoms. I have to accept a bunch of things. Through some fireworks in Miami. Okay, let me get to this. Okay. Started to go. I don't know what happened.
So you mentioned the Google and stuff happens.
Yeah, Google, come on. Yeah, I think it muted my mic a second ago. So they flew a quadcopter through some fireworks really high up and like threw them, and a lot of it looked like a lot of the fireworks either got very close to hitting it, or probably did hit it in some cases. I don't know what's going on
Like
here.
shrapnel and stuff from the fireworks.
Yeah.
DJI.
Yeah, because at one point it looked like it started to fall, like the vision was going down, and then it cut to a different clip. So I don't know, and it's right over water, so it looks like it survived, but
Regained altitude. That's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let me see if I can skip this. Can you see this? The YouTube thing? Oh, okay. Wonder what.
Something popped up on the screen and said use app, and then it disappeared.
Okay. I don't know if that goes to the recording. Anyway, I'll link it in the. It's cool. It goes for a while here, 4 minutes. It's cool because they rotate it. It almost looks like it's 3D in some spots. Yeah, so that's something cool I just found today, which is appropriate for the whole fireworks thing.
Those videos in of themselves are just. I could sit there and watch those for hours.
Yeah.
Going over to their DJI site, I mean, all these user-generated videos that they put on there, amazing what you can see. You know, the humpback whales, and you've got people flying through, caves and through mountaintops, and it's just, I want to take it down to Valley Forge Park and through Philadelphia, and just fly across, the Schuylkill River with Boathouse Row, and just start doing some own aerial videography.
Yeah.
I just saw a video of some guy that they were talking about. They've got some club, I think it's actually in New York, and they were contracted or contacted by some real estate firm. And as soon as they got this contract, or as soon as they published, this real estate company published their video of their real estate, the FAA contacted them with a lawsuit, a subpoena for $10,000. So, I guess the FAA has some big thing. You can't use aerial photography for commercial purposes, which is, I had some questions about that because I was thinking actually developing a newsstand magazine app all around drone photography, just user-generated type of stuff and whatever. And I wonder where that delineation occurs, where, what are they considering commercial? Is it commercial real estate, or can I take videos, place it inside this interactive magazine, and sell the magazine through, Apple or Android? Yeah. Are they going to consider that a commercial purpose, or not, or is it, where is that, that issue coming up?
Yeah, that's a good. I know that. I think I've read like a lot of the issues they have is like the height, because I don't know what's like 300 meters or 500, like some height where they could interact with planes, and you don't want to get them crashing into each other, I suppose. So we have a couple new people here joining us, which is awesome.
I think Brendan heard you speak of telling you, man, that guy's like a Ghostbuster. Comes out of nowhere.
Hello.
I see Brendan, and he's. I can hear that. Yeah, we can hear you.
You can't hear me?
I can.
Is this
yeah.
Live?
This is
testing. 1, 2. Sibilance. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh man, that was probably loud then. I'm sorry. Hey, hey, good to see you guys. How are you?
Yeah.
I was in the Home Depot parking lot, and I heard you guys say my name, and fireworks are going off. And hey, I was like, oh man, hey, kids, get in the car. We're going home. I got to tell these guys, hey, you talk about me, I got to show up and say what's up. So happy 4th of July. Happy Friday.
Yeah.
Did you see our quadcopter following you around?
I saw something. I assumed it was one of those like little lanterns from Tangled that just they kind of rise into the sky and stuff. But yeah, okay, well, good. Then you saw my you saw me turn right on red when I wasn't supposed to.
We did.
Sorry. Sorry.
That's gonna be like the hipster quadcopter now. Like everyone's gonna be like, quadcopters, that's old hat. I'm gonna get my lantern out, stick my GoPro onto it.
Yeah, quadcopters, man. I liked them when they were tricopters, man.
Yeah.
Four propellers. Jeez. Try 3 and talk.
That's overkill, man.
Too much, man.
Lantern aerial photography. That's fantastic.
The thing is, it eventually burns up, and then you got to try and catch it, right?
Yeah, why? That's what I was wondering. It's like, where do they go? Yeah, somebody's got to clean that crap up.
It makes it fun. GPS, you can try to hunt down your camera. It's always a surprise where it's going to land.
It's sport. It's a 5th of July sport. It's the lamest sport.
The 5th of July, huh?
Yeah, 5th of July trash hunt.
Oh man, the World Cup. I didn't have that on my list of things to talk about, but that is still happening. And let me just make sure I note this here. I went to America versus Portugal. Down at the Steel Stacks in Bethlehem, they have a whole giant pimped out area for the World Cup. They got these huge screens and everything up. Bands and stuff that play during the show. It's like a whole bunch of noise. And after that, my biggest concern was the amount of trash and stuff that's left around. And the thing is, there was a decent amount of trash cans, but I just don't think it was managed well enough. Like, they really need people with whips, and like if they, put your bottle in the trash. I don't know why I go to Germany there, but.
You know what's weird, or not weird, but we don't have that problem in Michigan because there's 10 cents refund on any bottles, cans for recycling. So there's a bunch of people like I live really close to a university. There are people who I think they're homeless or something, but on a game day they'll go around and they'll collect like $400 worth of cans and just take them to the grocery store, return them. It's I'm telling you, it's a big deal, and a lot of people they'll just kind of toss their cans and bottles in like the alleyway, knowing that those sort of like as a favor to those guys, saying like, hey, here's 10 cents, get 9 more of those, and you've got a double bacon cheeseburger. Feed yourself. So it's actually quite lucrative. So people will almost grab the can out of your hand and put them into their shopping cart and then go along their merry way. So I don't know what it's like in other places. Like when I go to visit my friends in other states and they throw their can in the trash, I'm like, what are you doing? That's 10 cents. No, man, we don't do that here. It's like, that's crazy. I've never known any other way. So.
Yeah, I know. In one of the places I grew up in Australia, I don't think it was a big thing, but it was a thing you could do. Like you would collect them and then take them to a special place. I think one of my coworkers does it. He just gets the aluminum cans and he gets a big bag of them and he takes them somewhere. I'm guessing. I don't think he hoards them. And yeah, because I'm looking on a bottle here and it just says there's like 6 states or something. I think someone is coming in the house, so I'm gonna, pull out my quadcopter that I don't have.
Are you in any physical danger? Are you?
Well, there's an animal that is waiting there at the ready. Oh, but it's.
Well, wait, please.
That sounds actually kind of dangerous.
Yeah.
That sounds like a psychopath.
Maybe it's Kevin Rose's raccoon.
You didn't put the key in the turtle.
It's not locked. Have you tried to open the door?
I didn't.
Oh my gosh.
Where's my key?
Welcome.
I'm. Hang on. Talk amongst yourself.
They're either like very friendly strangers or people that you know. Cause
They're in the fridge. They're making themselves at home.
That's the pizza delivery crew.
oh my gosh. Do it differently over there. Hey, you don't have to deal with people coming in, walking your house saying MF when you get DiGiorno's, right? That's not a problem you have.
No.
That should be their next commercial. Hey, this lady came in my house and she said MF. First 10 seconds she was in there. Wouldn't happen if you got a DiGiorno's.
That's the recycling crew. They're there for their 10 cents.
Yeah, that's right, man. Come back over here. We'll take care of that. The trash can. What isn't it 5 cents in Pennsylvania?
It is.
Yeah, okay.
It
Can
depends
you
on
still
the
throw them
bottle.
away?
You know.
Oh my gosh, man.
There are certain areas in Pennsylvania where they don't let you do it yourself. It's a recycling cartel.
Oh my god. It's like when you go to New Jersey and they don't let you pump your own gas.
Nope.
Why? That's so absurd to me. Like, I can pump my gas. I know exactly how much I want, and
It's allegedly an unemployment thing. They try to,
Oh. Interesting.
They try to staff every pump.
Hmm.
They should actually do that with the elevators. Back in the day where they actually had somebody inside the bellhop, but for the elevator.
Oh yeah.
Probably
And they would yeah, they'd say, "Hi, good morning. How are you? Oh, you see the Tigers game last night? Oh, hell of a game there." And they're like, it's like it gets you all pumped up to for your day.
Yeah.
Seventh floor, go to the pool on the roof.
Yeah. I could go for that.
Probably solve unemployment.
Big time. Except for I haven't been in an elevator probably in 6 months, so. Wouldn't help me out,
I hear they've got GoPros now in most elevators. It's a security thing now.
That'd be really difficult to fly. I gotta be honest.
Quadricopters, yeah.
Take a lot of skill.
You gotta be like Willy Wonka. That's the thing. You gotta get in that elevator. You gotta pound a bar of chocolate, and then you can do it.
It sounds like there's a lot of commotion at your house, Derek, and I'm worried that you're being robbed.
There's probably some of that
going
going on. I don't know how to dampen the sound because there's no doors between them and me.
No, I mean, to be clear, it doesn't bother me. I'm just saying I'm worried for your safety more than anything.
It is. I don't know what you call a group of 18-year-olds, but a crow, a claw.
I think it's a gaggle.
A gaggle.
A gaggle of ladies.
Cadre.
Yeah.
There's multiple genders. So
Bevy of bitches.
Whoa, man. Careful. B-word.
I gotta put an 18. I gotta put an 18.
America's birthday. You're bringing out the B-bombs. Wow. Statue of Liberty would be going like this with the torch right now. Man.
He is in New York.
Yeah.
Oh, you're in New York, huh?
Yeah, I'm on Long Island right now.
Fantastic.
Where am I? Yeah, I'm going to Brooklyn tomorrow. Actually, this could be a nice little insert into some cool things that are going on tomorrow that probably the majority of the people either watching this or you guys or whatever wouldn't be able to attend because it ends this weekend. But we get applause. We have a laugh track here or something. So there's a art exhibition at an old sugar refinery. I'm gonna pull it up here on my screen so I can kind of not sound too crazy, or not sound too good to be true. Maybe a better way to put it. So I don't know what to. I guess I'll just share this whole computer thing here and go into something stupid. Okay, so there's this old sugar refinery in Brooklyn which has been shut down for a while. They've been demolishing it. It's cool and whatever. But they're like, we're going to go out with a bang. I don't know if there's going to be a literal bang, but there is a whole bunch of sugar coating the walls, and there's all this sugar that they had left over, and they donated it to this art exhibition created by this woman named Carol Walker. And she's built several sculptures made out of sugar. Now, some of them were actually made like burnt sugar, kind of caramelized and shaped into things, but once it got a bit hot, they kind of melted, so they turned it in. They used resin to recreate them, and so there's a few like little standing children and stuff. But the main one is this big kind of Sphinx character, which I guess it probably will play here. I don't know if I can. Can you mute this stuff? How does the internet work? You can't even skip it. Wow, they've really funked up this player. And the main Sphinx thing is a whole bunch of styrofoam kind of shaped into the way they wanted it to be, and then just blasted with sugar. So it looks like one giant sugar Sphinx, but it's a bit of an illusion. It just all looks really delicious, and apparently you're not allowed to lick it, but I think since it's the last weekend, I think they'll probably let me.
They'll probably let it slide a little bit.
So that's on tomorrow. Maybe I can... No. That's on tomorrow and Sunday, which is something cool that I'll be going to. And then there's stuff at the Brooklyn Museum too, like a whole event with different exhibitions or exhibits. And one of them is, I forget how to pronounce his name, but Wee. It's a I'll pull this up too because he's this kind of activist artist from China. Who has done some really cool like documentaries and really cool just still art and sculptures and things. Here, this guy here. I've found out about him a few years ago. I follow him on Twitter, and most of it's in Chinese, so I don't understand it. But he's got an exhibition on at the Brooklyn Museum as well.
He's featuring the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, right?
He what?
He's featuring the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, as opposed to the Sphinx. I'm joking.
I don't know.
That Sphinx kind of looked like a topless Aunt Jemima. I don't know if that was the intention or not, but
that could be what they were going for because, but the thing is, from the side, it's sort of like the real Sphinx. So like it goes deep back, like it's not just that front piece.
Was that like a warehouse that they had that in there? I mean, that's
yeah. So it's the old sugar refinery. Like there's this video on the homepage, but they show, and I can't even skip through the video, which is a shame. Actually, I did hack it the other day, and it's actually on Vimeo, but I'll let you. There's a link there'll be a link. But yeah, so like you can kind of see it goes back deep down there. It's it looks really cool. So I'm gonna just roam around there tomorrow, licking walls and taking photographs and stuff, and yeah, that's something really cool that's going on. And then they've been demolishing buildings all around it, so I'm guessing like in the next week they'll probably just demolish this building too, and that'd be something cool to see, I suppose. A whole bunch of sugar exploding. I guess that maybe they'll make caramel out of it. I don't know. Like, does iron and steel mixed with caramel taste good with that? But probably something bad happened with that.
They have a lot of vitamins in it for sure.
Yeah, well,
I just saw into infinity for a second. Did you see that? Whoa!
Yeah, and there's you, but there's me. Okay. Yeah, you don't get to see into infinity very often, so take it in, soak it up. Okay, so yeah, that's some things I'm getting up to tomorrow. My friend Nerida's here from Australia. She's been on this show before, and I'm gonna hang out with her and them and stuff, and yeah, so that's cool that I was just looking at my notes here, and that's cool that Michigan does the litter thing well, because I'm always picking up litter. I don't really care if I get money for it, but I guess that would be a bonus. You do see a lot of opportunity for plastic bottles and cans and stuff all over the place, and yeah, especially at an event like World Cup viewing and stuff like that. Geez, you could make a killing. I think in a lot of, even if you don't have the special thing on the bottle, like, hey, your state accepts this, I think a lot of towns will do something along the lines of that. Like, you just got to find a special recycle place. Like, when I lived in Texas, we would collect, I think it was the bottles and the cans and take them. I don't know how much we would get, like 2 cents a thing, but we just do it for the greater good of people.
Yeah.
Because I don't think there was recycling at our apartment complex, which I was like, what? Why MCA? Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's we've got machines, like you have glass, plastic,
Right. Yeah.
Aluminium, as you would say.
Yeah.
We say aluminum, but I like your way better. But you've got you've got these cans. If you've got a can that wasn't purchased at that store, or like a brand that store doesn't have, it'll reject it and shoot it back out. So it won't even like I would be like, okay, we'll just take it. I don't have to get any money for it, but like I don't want to take it to a different store or anything. Like, no, it's no good. No good aluminium here.
Aluminium discrimination.
It really is, man.
I've done that too. In New York, I guess New York is one of the things on the bottle here, but I've been to a supermarket that does that. Yeah, it'll spit it out, and then they just have a regular bin just sitting there, like, oh, here's the way you can throw the rest of them if they don't work. It's like, what? Come on. Some people, like, there's so many situations that I see, not just with recycling, but there's like where people think do something good, but they don't really think it through the whole way. Like, just
the land of misfit plastic and aluminiums.
Yeah,
discarded to the side.
The Pacific Ocean, I guess, is where they end up. Right?
That's a sad downer thought.
Sorry.
Derek Downer. Happy birthday, America. Your ocean's filled with crap.
Well, the Pacific is connected to a lot of other nations, including Australia, so it'll probably just end up on my beach, so thanks. Hopefully you put a note inside it.
Thanks, Tom Hanks. Next time, bring some cooler stuff.
There's
another dude here. I feel like there's another dude right there. Right?
Yeah. My dad.
I feel like we've been ignoring him. Yeah.
I know. No, you joined, and then we talked for a second, then shenanigans ensued, and my dad joined in here.
Welcome, Dad.
Is he maybe? Are you muted? Me. How do I click the unmute button? I don't hear anything. Is there a button that you can? Well, we need a sign language person.
I know some sign language. I know that this is Subway, this is Taco Bell, Wendy's. I only know fast food places, but Taco Bell.
You quiero Taco Bell.
Wendy's.
When you said Subway, I was like, oh, like the transportation system.
I think they're one and the same, actually. The same.
Yeah. Okay.
But then you go $5 $5 foot long. That's about all I know.
Can you hear me now?
Oh
yes,
yeah.
Yes, loud and clear now.
Oh, okay. I've been trying to figure out all that time why there was no reaction.
What were your headphones?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, no, it's just I don't know. I haven't. It's different to the last time I played with this, and that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
So the mic was off.
Ah, right.
So I thought it was just like, okay, I'm just listening in type of thing.
Yeah, no, I think it might mute people when they first join or something.
No, I'm doing it on my phone. I'm doing it on my phone.
Yeah,
so that's why.
Can you rotate it to landscape?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, that works.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, cool. Because then that way we'll all be visible better. So, what did I have? I had something here. So back to, and this is the whole great thing about this show having no real coordination. Back to mentioning that skateboarder getting hit by a car. I was listening to This American Life episode, and while I was writing. Now, not to worry anyone, but I listen in one ear, and that's the right ear, so that's the side of the street, because we ride on the right-hand side of the road here. That's the side of the street that cars wouldn't be on. So I still have car knowledge, and that's how I heard the skater as well. Like, and I'm not having Ira Glass blasting in my ear. It's very nice and soothing. So I was listening. I can't remember the episode, but I've been listening to a few episodes recently, and some of them twice, because I'll just think, oh, did I listen to this one or not? And then I had, but then it's so enjoyable that I listen to it again. An interesting one that I guess can relate to America and stuff. I mean, that's the title of the show, but there's a bunch of Mexicans which had either done college in the United States or worked here for a while, and then they go back to Mexico because either their visa ends or one reason or another they head back. And for the most part, they go back for good. But they have this whole nostalgic thing with America that they miss it a lot because of the opportunities and stuff. And it's funny because they're Mexican and they have Mexican food and everything, probably better than you can get in the United States. Better meaning more authentic, not necessarily better to our taste buds.
I bet you they don't have Doritos for shells.
Exactly. I mean,
Point one, America.
Yeah. So one of the best jobs that they can get down there is in a call center for American companies. So rather than being outsourced to India or something where you can't quite understand their accent as well, it goes to Mexico, and there's these big call centers, and they make quite good money. And they speak with Americans, and these Americans will be sitting in the drive-thru at Taco Bell. They'll be like doing their laundry. They'll just be doing American things while they're on phone to support about one thing or another, like their phone bill or whatever. And it's really funny because when I think about contacting one of these companies, I'm like, okay, I've got to sit down. I've got to figure out like my account number and my this and my that, which I guess I should be like riding my bike and calling them or something from now on. But they get really homesick when they speak to these customers of the company, and they talk to them for quite a while. Like they'll talk to them for half an hour, talking about how was their day, what have they been doing, driving around their pickup truck in Texas or whatever. It's like, oh yeah, I used to live in Texas, and they struggle like for the first few years after going back to Mexico, because they get really homesick or away sick for America. It was very interesting, and you hear different like people talking about it, and then these group of people who have been to America and they've returned, they kind of congregate together. Either they maybe work at the same place, they go to lunch together and everything, and then local Mexicans that haven't been to America hear these people talking English, or I don't know if it would be American English. And they don't like it. They're like, speak Mexican, speak Spanish, which is, I guess, a valid thing to say. I always get a bit weird when people say, speak American, or speak like the country that you're in, because if you go to Europe, there's countries that speak multiple languages and stuff, and I don't necessarily think people that come to your country or anything should, I guess, obey the laws and stuff, but you shouldn't have to speak their language unless it's a barrier. Like obviously, if you're going to interact with someone at the post office, you should know how to interact with them and not try and speak Spanish to them or whatever. But yeah, it's always weird when people say. Sometimes I'll say things like petrol and aluminium. I've already forgotten. Sometimes I forget how to say things, and people are like, "What are you talking about? Gasoline?"
Yeah.
And
when you're up in your flat.
Yeah, up in my flat or my unit.
Hanging out, yeah. I like. Do you think I have like a really strong accent of any sort?
I can tell you have an American accent, and I can tell that it is different from other American accents.
Yeah. So I'm pretty close to Canada, right?
Yeah.
And I once went down to Arkansas and hung out for a weekend there with my buddy who was from Detroit, moved down there, and the whole time all of his friends were like, I don't even understand what you're saying. Like, I don't understand, man. Speak American. It's like, what are you? This is English, man. Like I don't understand. What do you mean? It's like you sound Canadian. Like say about. Like to me, it doesn't like. To me, I feel like I talk like Matt Lauer or something. You know, who's like known like. I don't feel like I have an accent, and I've been really self-conscious about it ever since then. So,
Where are you from?
I'm from Michigan.
Okay, I'm from Ohio. So I'm
Okay.
like, you sound exactly like we do.
Right. Yeah. Right. Exactly. We're like very close, and you know, damn that Toledo dispute that came between our two states. You guys got it. You can have it. You know, it's fine. We'll share. Whatever. But
We don't want it.
yeah, it's.
You speak
really
giant.
wants it. Exactly. So yeah, I've experienced this hatred that you were speaking of. It was very uncomfortable.
Try living in Philly.
Yes, where four-letter words are
Standard.
Yeah.
America is definitely one of those places where there's a huge range of accents. Like, you know, you go to New York City, you go to Long Island, you go to Boston. Like, it's a very close tri-area thing, and you could be all over the place. Like, Boston almost sounds Australian sometimes.
Those are different countries, Boston and New York.
Yeah. Yeah, so This American Life is awesome. Everyone should listen to it. That's the moral of the story.
Yeah. Absolutely.
There's been some really good ones. Like another one that I listened to recently was Molly Ringwald from The Breakfast Club and all of those things. She watched The Breakfast Club for the first time with her daughter recently in the past few years. Some of these episodes I listened to are like way old, and that was interesting too. Like. This actress who was really well known for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah, she probably hadn't seen it in, 20, 25, 30 years almost, and seeing it through the eyes of her, her daughter, who is probably now the age that she was when I don't know how old she is, but, closer to the age when she was filming it, and then like, seeing it again through the eyes of her kid. That's got to be pretty cool.
Yeah, that was a cool episode to listen to.
Yeah. It's like Ralph Macchio is now the age that Pat Morita was Mr. Miyagi when they were filming Karate Kid, right? The first Karate Kid. So that'll make you feel old.
Yeah, but does he look 21 still?
He, except for around his eyes. His eyes have seen some things. He's an old soul. His eyes look 50. The rest of him is like 25. Yeah, good for him.
Yeah. So I have a couple more things on my little list here. If anyone has something that's on their mind that they want to just shout out,
I've got a question for you, Derek.
Yeah.
So you were talking a little bit, before you led into the This American Life stuff. You were saying you were bike riding, and I know that you're a big bicycling advocate, right? Mm-hmm. So let me share a scenario with you and tell me from your perspective am I doing the right thing? Okay. So on my way to work, there's like this long stretch. It's kind of maybe like a farming road. Okay, so there's not a lot of traffic or anything, but it's a single, it's a double lane road, whatever. And there's a lot of bicyclists going back and forth. And it's like a maybe 2-mile stretch there, and a lot of people will just like buzz right by them, and very dangerously so. And what I try to do is I go like I'm gonna pass them. I go all the way over into the other lane if I can, pass them, wait till I'm like 200 feet beyond them before I cross back over and stuff like that. And I feel like I'm doing more. I'm putting more thought behind this than the other people who are just like barely moving over and like buzzing them and stuff like that. Yet sometimes I still see the guy, he'll like flip me off or something. It's like, I was trying to do you solid, man. I was being as clearly I couldn't just sit behind him for the entire stretch of the road, right? So I have to pass him at some point. So I make sure that his safety is paramount. Get all the way over, pass him, wait till I'm way past him, and then get back over. And he's still like flipping me off and like, share the road, man. I can't hear him, but I'm assuming that he's like, effing, you know, Chevrolet, whatever. Is that the right thing to do? Like, how do you feel when you're past and stuff like that?
I see people. A lot of the roads that I've, like for instance, when I saw the skateboarder that was hit by a car. I don't know if you got that at the start, but very start of the show I talked about something like that. And when I passed this skateboarder, he's on the road. This road has cracks in it. It's kind of dodgy. And I went almost to the center lane. Now this is a road where there's enough room for parked cars driving, a bit of like a buffer for the center lane to like turning lanes, and then the opposite on the other side. So it's a fairly wide road, but it's one lane each way. And I almost went to the center just to go around. Like I said at the start, I didn't want to spook him, which me riding past silently wouldn't have really done. And I could have. I don't have a bell, but I guess theoretically I should have done my bell. And I appreciate it when cars go further around. Like I do see some cars go over the center line, even on these really wide roads. And I'm like, you don't have to be that crazy, but that's fine by me. You know, go as far around as you want.
I'd rather err on the side of safety for
the
unprotected people, you know, than...
Yeah, because if you don't do that, it's tough to kind of judge how close to be. Because some people I've noticed, like it's only happened once or twice when someone gets like almost touching distance, and I'm like that. Especially when we're coming to do a turn together, like what are you doing? But a lot of people will do a good distance. Like I could stretch my arm out and not touch them. And that's good, especially like my bike is, I just realized this the other day, is a lot larger than other bikes. It's a 29-inch wheel, but also that means the handlebars are wider, so it's interesting to get through some gaps. But my friend Nerida rode it the other day, and she's little, like skinny and shorter and everything, and the seat doesn't even go down low enough for her to sit on it and be able to touch the ground, so it's funny. I never realized like that it was that much bigger than other bikes. So anyway, no, I definitely do. I don't know why that person would have flipped you off. Like it could have been. Sometimes I think that's just too far. Like you could be endangering yourself, even though there's no cars coming in the opposite direction. But I don't see a reason why he would flip you off like that. I find that nice when people go much further than they need to. But I'm gonna
put a bumper sticker on my car that says, if you have a problem with this, talk to @DJ Steen. He'll let you know I'm doing the appropriate thing. You are being rude, flipping me off.
Bicyclist rage.
Deal with it, yeah. # deal with it.
All of this on a bumper sticker, it's like, you're like, what?
Tricyclist rage.
Yeah, I could make some stickers, like bicyclist approved vehicle or something. Like,
hey, a couple of weeks ago, Derek, on Top Gear, they had an experiment with the hosts riding bikes around London, and it was amazing how courteous the car drivers were, but the buses, it was just I could not believe it myself. I couldn't believe how the buses were cutting them off. They were squeezing them out, almost onto the curb, or squeezing them into other cars. It was quite incredible. It was on a couple of weeks ago. It's a pretty recent show, probably on the web now.
I think bus drivers and cab drivers have to take a special course to learn how to be absolutely crazy drivers, because something's up with them all.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I take a wide berth. I do what you guys were talking about before. I just almost go over the centre line to pass them half the time. You never know what could happen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the buses in Bethlehem have always been pretty fine to me. They'll leave enough room. They don't go too much out of the way. A lot of the time, like around Bethlehem, which is kind of nice. I think because of that guy that I mentioned earlier was hit by a car. They've put up signs saying that bikes can use a full lane, and in some spots that's necessary. So now some of these, like it's written on the road and it's written on signs, the road ones have kind of faded away, so I don't know how many people actually pay attention to it. But you, like if you speak to locals in Bethlehem, they're like, oh yeah, I remember that guy that was hit. Yeah, I get out of Bicyclist Way and stuff. So, but then there's a lot of people traveling through there. Like a lot of people that work in Bethlehem don't live there, and a lot of people travel through. Like there's buses that go directly to New York City and Philly and stuff. So yeah, you do see some crazy people on the road. But the buses there have been okay to me. But I can see, it depends on the city, the place a lot of times. Yeah, but these vests that these guys are wearing, those are definitely good. My helmet is that color, and the bike is that color, so that helps. I was noticing, I took some photos of Nerida riding my bike the other day, and she didn't stand out very much, like because it was kind of a sunset, but the bike was like, so that's cool. And my gloves also have like neon things on them too, and then I wear lights and stuff. I mean, if you miss me, it's like you must be a blind driver giving a automatic self-driving Google car a go or something.
Could be.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of gloves, Danielle, when you first came on, were you taking off rubber gloves? That's something that happened, right?
You were correct, yes.
Now you don't have to give into specifics. I just want to make sure that I wasn't losing my mind a little bit. But those are rubber
I'll give
gloves
you 3 choices, and you can choose which one's true. I was painting a mural.
Probably a lie. That's the first one's always to throw you off, like a false choice.
Okay. I was baking a cake.
Your body language suggests that that's not correct, and also nobody does that to bake a cake, right?
Nobody?
Unless you're allergic to flour. Maybe if you're allergic to flour and you got to make something for flour-eating people, yeah. Okay.
I was shooting myself in the butt.
Shooting yourself in the butt. See, the way that you phrased that makes it sound like it's a trick question, so I'm going to say that that's the correct answer. Like maybe you were shooting yourself, like with, you mean like not with a gun, but like a syringe, like medicine, right?
Yeah.
Butt medicine,
Butt
for
medicine.
sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you don't have to say. I mean, if you're not comfortable, that's cool.
I
Just
probably
wanted to make
should have
sure.
joined earlier then.
Oh my God. Okay. Happy 4th of July. Here's your butt medicine. Fireworks.
Yeah.
Hopefully you like flicked it a little bit so that the air bubble gets out and yeah. Okay.
Are there fireworks happening anywhere?
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
are you guys all being lame and sitting at home and not watching them?
I actually was
Well,
out. Yeah. And then I came
here.
back in.
Oh, it's late now.
Yeah.
I think they're just about to start here.
Is Home Depot a good place to watch the fireworks, or?
It's a great place. You know what? Because like so there's I don't just like hang out in Home Depot parking lots or anything. But there's this like downtown area where I live, and like from the mall is like I think it's the roof of the mall. They're shooting off the fireworks and everything, and so people like to go to the mall parking lot and hang out, and it's really packed and it's hard to get out of there at after it's finished. So we're like, let's go to Home Depot, like Home. You've never been to this town, so you don't know. But it's a little bit further out, but it's like a straight view, like of where the airspace where the fireworks are happening. So we're like, hey, let's just go there, and then if I hear Derek and Drew talking about me, then I can get just hop on my merry way, get home, and turn on my old MacBook and let them know what's up. Just talk about it, guy, man.
I was at Home Depot a couple of weeks ago, and there was this guy in a pickup truck with the whole pickup bed was full of pineapples and oranges, and he was giving out free samples and selling them. It was pretty cool.
Is it Mexican?
Yep.
Sounds delicious.
Yeah, it was. It was really good.
Love Mexican pineapple. It's delicious. Goes with everything. And stuff like Drew, I'm worried about your health, man. You keep rubbing your eye. Are you tired, or do you have like a sty or something? Are you
No,
okay?
man, it's I was just sitting by a fire. My eyes are all dried out. So
Oh yeah. Fire
Oh,
like a campfire in your backyard?
yeah, man, we were just we're doing the fire pit thing, and they're all dried out. So
Nice. Did you do some s'mores?
no, the kids did, but I did not partake in said s'mores. I try to avoid injuring any marshmallows because I know that you're fond of the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Yeah,
He
they'll
keeps
come back.
Yeah, he will.
They'll
I
come
try not
back.
to think about it too much. I do not want to be stepped upon.
Got to keep your mind clean and pure.
You
Keep it
do.
away, think of nothing.
Brendan,
That's a
do you work in
35-year-old
the health
joke.
area?
I didn't hear.
Do you work in health, Brendan? You seem to know about styes and
No,
Blood.
Drew. I think Drew is in the healthcare profession, and
Okay.
I'm just very observant of my friends, and I want to make sure that they're happy and healthy, and will live a long time. I know Drew's got three beautiful two.
That I'm aware of.
Daughters. Yeah,
Yes.
three lovely young ladies that are I don't want to grow up without a father, so I'm making sure that he's on top of his health at all times.
Right.
So you have like the drone monitoring him as well when we're not doing the hangouts. So
Yes, I do. And when the battery backup packs fail, then I've got Navy SEALs repealing from the ceiling with lots of camo and ammunition
they
and
say like Brandon Protection Service on their
Yes.
chest or something.
Yeah, BPS, man.
powered by
You
Vidler.
want a shirt? I'll send you a shirt. What size? Medium? You look like a medium. I'm a medium.
I'm medium, yeah.
Yeah.
Medium works.
Extra medium. Extra medium.
Extra medium.
There we go. Yeah. Hey, Drew. Hey, let's make this about you, man. Sorry,
I am not
Derek,
extra medium.
So you've been doing a lot of this podcasting stuff, right?
I have been.
Yeah. So I've been like kind of like loosely following and stuff, and you're like really talking a lot to people who do podcasts stuff like that. But you don't have a podcast yourself, right?
I do. Well, it's not launched as of yet. I'm trying to put about 25 to 30 episodes in queue. That way, it gets into new and noteworthy and all that other kind of stuff.
Gotcha. Yeah, I want to do a podcast. Maybe I'll talk to you about the cheapest way that I can do a podcast. It's going to be called Can't Hardly Wait for Can't Hardly Wait 2. The 1997 film Can't Hardly Wait, starring Jennifer Love Hewitt and Ethan Embry, and it's almost like their 20-year reunion, since they graduated. And I want to get like a lot of momentum going so that they make a sequel. Like, oh hey guys, it's our 20-year. We got 3 years left before they can make that happen. So
That's right.
I'm gonna try to get it rolling and get the people involved, and then see what happens. But that's an idea I've got on the back burner here. So we might need to talk about.
Let's work on that. I know you were doing a whole bunch of online video stuff before. So are you still involved in that?
Yeah, that's right. I like doing these hangouts because you don't have to plan. Like I don't.
Yeah.
They're plans, right?
So that's like, so I don't know how many of you really know about this podcast and its origins. I've mentioned on the show before, but I think it was 2006 when I first started it, before the Vidler days and stuff, and it was all audio because back then video, you didn't really, YouTube was beginning, and some people were doing video, but they were serving it off their own servers, which could get costly and stuff. So I just did it audio back then, and then I think the last one I did was like 2008 or 2009, and then there's this big long gap because I would do other shows and just stuff. And Hangouts just seem to be the perfect thing because it's really easy to set up. You can make it public. There's all these cool interactions like titles and everything. It's all kind of like live production, and it saves to YouTube, which everyone bloody uses YouTube. But if you do want to put it in a podcast feed, you can just download the file and do that too. And I don't know, YouTube might do some kind of RSS thing. I'm not sure. Vidler does. But yeah, so I just find this, if you want to do video, I mean, I guess you could technically convert this to audio, but this is it just makes it so easy, so I don't have to like go in on
So
video
easy,
editing
yeah.
code
Super
and
accessible and
yeah,
any
You don't have to
device.
do all the editing.
yeah.
That's right. You can put on a
Transcribe.
rubber glove and get it to work even. Tapping on your phone. You might have germs, you don't know. After you've given yourself a shot in the butt, you want to make sure that doesn't get on your screen. Put it on your face. Gets in your face. Whole lot of problems.
You don't want a butt face.
Exactly.
Ohio.
Don't want that. Okay, so all right, derailed the whole conversation here, but if you had any other bullet points.
Other couple of things that I have here were so one thing, this could be way too long of a discussion, but a few years ago I wrote a blog post about shaking people's hands less because I think it's not a very personable action, at least compared to a hug, or I don't know, some people are into the fist bumps and stuff. That's a little bit weird because knuckle against knuckle is like rough. You want something soft. You want to be like here's something I prepared earlier. I don't think he enjoyed coming up to me, but okay. Like, imagine if my hand was a fluff ball like this, and another person's hand was a fluff ball like this. Like, connecting two fluff balls would be nice. Anyway, I kind of jotted down here that I went to a conference, and by the way, this is going to get so many views now that there's a dog in it. Tip, Brandon, tip.
That's right, except for you were threatening to punch,
I'm thinking, are you gonna sit here and punch this dog?
Punch
I'm
the
gonna
dog.
cry.
Yeah.
So I went to
be on the front page of Reddit tomorrow.
Finally, I went to this conference a little while ago and had to act professional. I mean, I wore my orange tuxedo because the president of our company requested that, to attract attention and stuff. But we were kind of walking around this conference center and meeting people and making connections with companies and stuff. There's a lot of handshaking going on, and that's the professional thing to do. So it was tough because I've done really well with at least meeting new. He's done. This is not a conversation he's interested in. I got to talk about dog treats or something next. Yeah, like meeting new friends or even strangers and stuff. The hug thing works quite well because people are like, oh, it's that guy that hugged or such and such. And I don't know if people's brains would explode if it's like orange tuxedo, the guy that hugged, Australian accent, like all these things. But anyway, I wanted to keep it professional. My title was more professional than happiness ambassador and stuff. And it was it was something that I have a little trouble with because of how, like, especially when it's a girl. Like I posted something on my Google Plus and Facebooks today about some ad campaign where I think it might be like a tampon brand or something, where they have a whole bunch of girls and they say, okay, show me what it's like to run like a girl or do this like a girl or do that like a girl, and they all do it like they throw it like a girl, they do it like silly. And that's just, like a girl is always a bad thing. And then they turned it around and said, like, okay, run how you would run or throw how you would throw. And these are like girls that play sports and know how to play sports properly. So they would do it properly. So it's weird how there's this stigma against doing something like a girl would. Anyway, I've gotten a bit off track. So when shaking a woman's hand, it's something so hard. Even a man, sometimes you'll shake a man's hand and it'll be like too soft or too hard. With a man it's usually too hard. With a woman it's usually a little bit on the soft side, which I would prefer, but then I feel like I'm crushing their hand if their hand feels soft to me. So there's this like thing that goes on in my brain which is really tough, whereas like hugs, you can have different levels of pressure with hugs. But it's not as much goes on thinking like, oh, did I just crush their hand? Is that gonna ruin our business relationship? Like, I don't know if other people think of that. I would think if some guy crushes my hand, I don't want to be interacting with him much anymore. That's just me, but
Yeah. So you're saying that like particularly with the females, you feel awkward shaking their hand, like
not awkward. I think a lot of it comes from crushing the hand, and because I've felt that from a man crushing my hand, I feel like if their shake feels soft to me, that means I'm the harder side of the shake, and people like a firm handshake, you know, but I just don't know how. It's hard to understand how. Like, should I be practicing? Like, I don't know how to do that. And yeah, so I.
What about the opposite when you have somebody that has that limp? Do you ever have one of those?
I would rather limp than being crushed, man or woman. But it is a little bit weird sometimes. Yeah, like they're not even doing anything. Their hand is there, and you're like doing the whole motion. That is weird, but it usually doesn't really stay in my mind as much as my hand needing to have some therapy.
I guess it could be worse. You could have the Wachati or the Wachutu tribes from Ace Ventura spitting upon you and giving you that sign of respect. Let me show my appreciation for you.
You want to show respect, always. Be respect. Bumblebee tuna.
Oh, Bumblebee tuna, my friend.
Do you know where a piece of paper is?
I could get you a piece of paper. I could get you plenty of pieces of paper. I'm in the office here, kids, so I have... This is long paper. This is like... Is that extra good?
Oh, you're in the office.
You make it
have this?
You can.
Thank you.
You probably should return it.
What?
Yeah. These are long. Like
paper airplane
look
contest.
important.
See what they got? Yeah.
What looks
what are they?
important? Long things? I guess it was meant to be folded into a book or something. Anyway, it's actually what is helping light my thing here. There's a yellow piece of paper over the light, so it
brilliant.
connects even with this one. Just
Nice
behind
hack.
the scenes there.
Very
Because
nice.
otherwise this one was like super white, and it's like, oh my gosh, the white balance. Anyway, Wachati tribes, guano and stuff. I'm kind of excited for Dumb and Dumber 2. I was kind of iffy about it, but the trailer looks good.
Trailer kind of won me over because there's enough elements from the nostalgic portions of the first one that you're like, yes, they're going back there.
I don't know if that really relates to the handshaking thing, but I was iffy about it, and I saw Anchorman 2 recently for the first time, and I saw so many reviews saying, oh, it sucks, and I loved it a lot. I laughed a lot. It paralleled the first one in many ways. Like, they have the whole fight scene and everything, and it was almost the same whole story, just updated a little bit, which was, I'd never really seen that before. Usually sequels are a continuation of the story, which is completely different. Like Home Alone 2, I have to watch it again. I actually haven't seen that in a long time, but they didn't have ice on the steps and stuff, as far as I recall, like they did in the first one. Anyway, I saw the trailer for Dumb and Dumber 2, and it looks like there's a lot of parallels that go on. But again, it does look really good, and I have high hopes for it.
Yeah, I'm selfish. Yeah, I'm
Is your
selfish,
suit,
and I want to have. Oops, sorry, Miss Jean. You go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
After you.
Sorry.
After you.
No, I just wondered if your suit had increased in value, Derek.
Well, I'm concerned about that. So I usually take it. I wore it at this conference in May, and I usually wear it to South by Southwest. I didn't go to South by Southwest this year, but I do plan on going next year. And in these previous years, because it's like been 20 years or so since the first one, and I would do this kind of rough survey of people. I would say, okay, do you know where it's from? And then if they didn't know, I would say, okay, it's like this is Leah. I would say, it's a movie from the 90s.
Show
Jim
your
Carrey.
boobies.
Well, I have no boobs. What do you mean? Just tame it, because I'm recording. So.
He's doing a TV show. Come on.
Would you say that?
Oh my God, you're an idiot.
He's doing a TV show. Make it serious.
I already forgot what I was talking about.
You were talking about you don't have boobs. That's the last thing I think you said.
Oh, the suit, right. So, yeah, I'll go to South by Southwest, and I'll get a rough survey of, like, half of people remember the movie, and then if the people... Can you just please... It's loud, this microphone is lame.
You're lame.
The people that didn't know the movie, half of them, so 25%, if you triggered it with like Jim Carrey, Jeff Daniels, they'd be like, oh right, Dumb and Dumber. So there's like a quarter of people that hadn't even seen the movie or just didn't recall it, which is kind of interesting. But the thing is, I don't know if they're going to have the suits in the new movie. They've been doing marketing with the suits, like they'll just have a picture of the orange one and a picture of the blue one. I hope that they have the suits in the movie. I hope something similar, perhaps. If they do the parallel thing like I was describing a second ago, I assume they would have that. Now, if they do, then it might be weird at South by or at other events in the future. They'll be like, oh, right, the Dumb and Dumber, right, okay, gotcha. I wonder if it will attract as much attention because they've seen the movie and they know what it's from and they're excited about it, compared to not recalling the movie and seeing this guy in an orange tuxedo and thinking it's something completely unique. I don't really mind either way. I think it's going to probably change in some sense. Like now that, especially if the suit is in the movie.
If they don't recall it, then maybe it's not someone you really need to talk to, you know?
Yeah. It's amazing how much attention it attracts, especially at South by Southwest. At this conference I went to, it was like a professional learning conference, and it attracted attention. A lot of booths wanted to get photos with me and stuff, but nowhere near as much as... But that was in Washington, D.C., though. They're probably all like politicians or something. Whereas in Austin, Texas, everyone's weird. So...
Hey,
yeah.
Talking about weirdos, Derek. Richard Dean Anderson was on the project here last night. He looked a bit a little bit fatter in the face. You still recognise him, but just quite fatter in the face. But it was quite cool seeing him. I haven't seen him for a long time.
Why do you think he's a weirdo?
Oh, sorry, no, he was talking about weird. He was here for ComCon. The Oz, I think he's in Perth or something. And, he was talking about how he loved going to them. He likes to see the weirdos turn up, and not just turn up, just in your ordinary self, but just coming in your crazy outfits. He loved that. He's a big fan. He's been here quite a few times already, I think, for that ComCon.
Would you give him a handshake or would you give him a hug? I
would attempt the hug with him. I haven't done too many celebrity meetings. I'm trying to find here if I can see the video.
Yeah, I thought he might be on there. It could be on 10 Play.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah, I haven't even heard of 10 Play yet. I doubt it's going to play in the States. I wonder.
Right.
But I've gotten autographs from celebrities and stuff before. I may have shaken someone's hand. I mean, I met the gladiators when I was a kid, like the Australian gladiators. I remember that. I'm trying to think. Like, I would like to meet Richard Dean Anderson and Jim Carrey, but it's.
What if they were wearing rubber gloves?
Then they don't want a hug. They definitely just want a very pristine, sterile handshake.
Yeah.
Depends. Depends where those gloves were.
Yeah, exactly. Jim Carrey needs his butt medicine all the time. Talking out there.
I will happily apply Jim Carrey's butt medicine, or whatever he may need. He
Fantastic, yeah.
he recently did a. So I guess this video isn't playing because I live in the United States. Because every country is a locked down ecosphere and it's annoying.
That's a pain.
Yeah, I'll steal it off somewhere. But Jim Carrey recently did a commencement speech for a university, which name I can't remember, but I'll link it. And it's really like he does transcendental meditation and stuff. I didn't watch the whole thing yet, but because the first available video of it was someone holding it up on like from the audience, and their camera splits it into 20-minute clips, and it was horrible to watch. And I was like, I got through the first half, and I was like, okay, I'll watch it when they actually put the real one up. So I've always loved Jim Carrey. I mean, the characters he plays and stuff, but he sounds like a pretty awesome dude as well because of some of the insights he has.
I told you about the dream I had a while back about Jim Carrey, didn't I?
Maybe, but please.
We were like, I was at this cafe having lunch, and there's Jim Carrey a few tables over, and he's like, oh, won't you join me? So we have this lovely lunch, and we're having fun conversations, and he's totally awesome. It was random, because I don't think about him nearly as often as you do.
But surely my influence helped that dream, I'm sure.
Probably, yeah.
Cool. Well, maybe perhaps it's a premonition. I have a lot of deja vus, which I think are dream premonitions that I just don't remember the dream until the actual event happens. So, interesting. Was I there in the dream?
Maybe. I was probably like, oh my god, you have to meet Derek, let's go. And I think I probably like took him to his house.
I saw a video of this bat rescue today, and apparently this very large bat. I'll try to send you a link to it. Is being rescued by some vet or whatever, and they're like wiping this bat's wings off. It's like papoosed. They papoosed this bat, and all I could think of was, "Die, devil bird!" He throws his medallion. I'm like, why are they wiping this bat down? Apparently, the bat had been tangled in some type of fishing line or something. I'm like, good, die, devil bird. Oh, crazy.
Oh man, that was good when you linked that on my Facebook a little while ago. I chuckled a lot. Yeah, send me the link to that. I just googled it, but nothing really came up. There's all these like bat sanctuaries in New Jersey, maybe.
I'll try to share it. So I know it's over on Facebook. That's where I saw it. So I'll try to send it up too.
Cool. The other last thing, besides how delicious guano is, that I have on my list is I have a friend in Sweden who does a lot of amazing things. If you're familiar with Instagram, he and his business friend people, what do you call them, partners, created a service called Copygram a while ago, and it basically just backed up everything from Instagram. Even if you didn't have a Copygram account, it would just back it up, and so you could just like log into Copygram and say like, oh, here's all my stuff, and it was a much better interface. Before Instagram had a web interface, they had a really beautiful interface. I think Copygram's a little bit on the back burner now, but they've also got a Copygram printing service, so you can select, I don't know, your top 9 or 12 images from Instagram and get them printed on a really nice, beautiful, huge poster or small posters or like little cards, like business card size. But a lot of it's all square because the Instagram does the square stuff. So he's just, entrepreneur, kind of awesome guy. What they're doing in the next few weeks is going on this thing called the Mongol Rally, which I meant to look up more about it before I spoke about it. But it's basically this rally that goes for about 30,000 kilometers from let's see, it goes through like Turkey, all these kind of Eastern European places. Here we go. I guess it begins in Europe and ends up in Mongolia. And yeah, there's certain limitations. You can only have about a 1200cc vehicle, and it can be anything. It doesn't have to be a rally car. It can be a van, whatever. And people from all over the world join in on it, and I guess it's just you race to the end, and you can kind of go any route you want and stuff. So you could pimp out your car and make it off road or something. So they've got this team called.
What is 30,000 miles in kilometers?
I think it's actually kilometers.
Very good.
I think it's actually because they go in kilometers, and I just was maybe automatically converting things in my brain.
I don't understand the metric system, so I need to use my old Google phone. Sorry, I didn't mean to. I didn't realize that you could hear that. Sorry.
No, that's cool.
So is this like a Cannonball Run type of thing? Are you familiar with Cannonball Run?
I'm not.
Or maybe the 2000s version, which was Rat Race.
Rat Race.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. No, okay, gotcha.
I love Rat Race. It's something like that. Let me see what the prize is at the end, I guess.
As long as they've got GoPros in the dashboard.
So yeah, that kind of loops back around to the quadcopter chat and stuff at the start. Let me put this up on the screen here, so a little bit interesting. Yeah, all different kinds of vehicles. Yeah, here's a map of it.
And nipple rings. That's what they're. I remember that one scene where the guy has the infected tongue and the piercing.
I was just trying to find the actual distance. I think it's 30,000 kilometers. So that's somewhere like 25,000 miles or something. And yeah, I guess there's Andrew V. But so anyway, the team that I'm specifically talking about is Team Adventure, which is adventure.s. And I don't know if there's really much time to donate stuff. I guess you can still donate money and such. But they're doing really awesome stuff. Like they've got, what do they got here? They got this old VW van. I don't know what they even called that model. The Transporter, I think it was called in Australia. And they've really made it nice. I don't know if they've updated photos here. But they've got a whole bunch of wish list items, which I sent them some SD cards and what else? Like a little first aid kit. Oh, my name's even on here. Yeah, I sent them some batteries. And yeah, they really pimped out this vehicle. Like they sprayed it matte black, and they put all these 2.1 amp USB ports in the dashboard. They've got solar panels. They've got a quadcopter. They've got a GoPro.
Do they need rubber gloves?
I actually think it says work gloves here. I don't know if that means rubber gloves, but they've already got 3 of those. See what? Actually, they filled this out quite a lot. I don't think there's any, but I looked at it a couple weeks ago and it was like empty. So yeah, they got sound system, they got all this like safety stuff, tents and all these things, and they've got some really big companies to help sponsor them with some of these larger equipment, roof racks and stuff. Yeah, 30,000 kilometers. There we go. Yeah, I guess they haven't got fuel money yet. But yeah,
short trip.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what they do because he's really good at posting photos and videos and stuff on Instagram and on other places. And they have all kinds of equipment to be able to do that on this adventure. So that looks like something really cool that they're going to do. And they, like, you can see this site is so well designed and stuff. They're just a really cool group of people. Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited to watch them. I want to do something like this at some point. I'd never heard of this rally before, but perhaps someday I will do one and I don't know, do the whole thing in a. Well, I don't know, it'll be
Well,
cool.
they have a similar rally here in Australia there that goes, I think, from Adelaide to Darwin. I think it was on not that long ago, and they had all these old cars, and they showed how they fitted them out. Some of them were just amazing. A bit like you were saying that GoPros everywhere and all that sort of stuff, but they were really old cars. I can't remember what it's called.
I know there's that solo
Dash for Cash or something. I think it's a charity thing. Dash for Cash or something like that.
I know there's the solo race. Like I just googled Adelaide to Darwin, and there's that solo race that I think goes the same length, which looks like it's 3,000 kilometers, which is a tenth of what this Mongol rally is. But I think I know the one you're talking about as well. I think I've seen that before.
It's a yearly thing.
Yeah, the closest we have here is a pub crawl. What about you, Brendan?
Yeah,
that's here. Right. I think they invented them here.
3 kilometers will go.
Might go from the.
You'll sweat out the alcohol.
My refrigerator to my couch.
Half a kilometer.
30 steps. I wonder how many steps I've done today on this app that I have. Yeah, so that's just thought I'd put that on people's radars. I don't know if that's something you're interested in following as well, but Team Adventure at adventure.so, and that's all I really have on my notes. If there's something really important, you should have yelled out already.
Just one thing, Derek. This morning I went to the local computer shop here just down the road. They're nice guys. They always fix my computers there. And I took another PC there from work that had some problems, so nobody could fix it. And they fixed that straight away. But I said, "Oh, do you work? Can you work on Apple stuff?" And he said, "Oh yeah, we do Apple stuff." And he showed me a corner of the shop. They had all these old Apple computers there, and there was one exactly like yours. But some were old, some were newer. They had the grey sort of looking body. iMac. And they all had logic. They all had logic card problems. They all were to be thrown out. They were just sitting there all in a row. I couldn't believe it. And they don't even deal much with Apple there. But he said, "Look, we don't do anything. They just, as soon as that dies, they can't do anything with it."
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if we can do anything with yours. I'll try another guy.
If anyone watching this has a spare logic board for an iMac G5 2006 model before the Intel card came in, then give me a holler. I have an old iMac in Australia that looks like it died for a bit there. Like I was mentioning the other day, Dad, they shouldn't just throw those out. They should turn them into like a fish tank. But because you see those old big iMac fish tanks. I think it would be kind of funny to see like a super thin fish tank where the fish is kind of like. I guess you could do that with those fighter fish that don't need much space. Just like squeeze them into a little thin thing.
Sea monkeys.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember sea monkeys.
There's like 10,000 of them minimum. iMac.
Commune.
Yeah, it's like a colony.
Oh, that'd be a very hilarious thing just to have like sitting on a mantle or something. Oh, you have a 27-inch iMac as your TV? No, that's just my sea monkeys.
There's only like 3 billion of them in there, so don't mind them.
They only live a month.
That is so cool. I've never seen this iMac fish tank thing before. I just Googled it. Do you stick the food in the disc tray or what?
Yeah.
How do you?
No,
you have
usually
to download it. You
download the food.
Yeah.
They didn't have Wi-Fi back then, so you got to connect a cable.
Oh, okay. So. No, that's really awesome.
It's not open source.
Yeah, there's proprietary sea monkeys. Tough to get around that. Yeah, I don't, to answer your question seriously, I don't, it depends on the model. Like, there's the cube model, which is very easy to make a fish tank out of. You just kind of seal the edges and stuff, and you could probably just, I think it just has a lid. But then if you go back to the very first model that was colored and the kind of the shell thing, I don't know what accessible, because that was, the whole shell was kind of like, there was the screen and the shell that you pull out from it. So I don't know how you seal that, because it also had little holes as vents or stuff. So that one might be tougher. But give it a go if you find one in the trash.
That would make an interesting sequel for Planet of the Apes.
I haven't seen any of those movies, so I wonder if that is funnier if I had.
Sea monkeys.
Here it is. I've got him on the screen at the moment, being introduced, Derek. I don't know how to do this. How do I do this?
Oh, flip the camera around?
Yeah. I've been waiting for it because every time I go forward on the clip, it goes to black and then it took another commercial break, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, man.
I don't know how long this goes for. We should be in any minute.
Oh man. Simpsons.
Yeah, he was on,
Now we're watching The Simpsons.
he was on The Simpsons.
In
Oh,
Australia.
okay. It's like an intro. I see.
Yeah, it goes on forever, but he's there. It won't be long. There he is in Comic Con.
MacGyver without the Mac is just a Guyver.
As long as he still has a mullet, though.
Yeah, I don't
Without a
know.
mullet.
In Stargate, he got rid of the mullet, so yeah.
Garbage. That's like Tom Selleck shaving his mustache. You don't
Yeah.
want to do that.
Time Select 2.0.
I'll edit this hangout and I'll edit in a mullet. Oh, maybe there's a mullet option. It could probably detect his face. Where's that thing?
You can draw one on there.
Oh yeah, you can draw stuff now. Wait. Draw is not supported on this user's platform. Oh no. Oh, I can't draw on my dad's screen.
Fail.
Searching for a face. I can't find my face. Okay, here we go. I mean, this is potentially what I could do. Oh dear. Can you see this happening?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, it follows me around.
Derek does not need a mullet.
I matched my mustache to my shirt. That's... Yeah, I don't need it. I need to get the frollet. Something's happening here. I don't know. Oh man, this is fun. Oh, I see. Because Dad's on the phone. The phone can't have these fancy things.
Can't do these
Oh
things.
man, it's a good thing we didn't find this at the start because we would have gotten nothing done. So now I have a feather, so I'm like an Indian warrior or something. Okay. All right.
I'm sorry, I'm offended by that.
Yeah. All right. Well, call the RS. What do you call it over here? The ASPCA or something?
Something like that.
PETA. All right. So this is fun. Holy cow. Okay. Now I'm gonna get distracted. This is too much. Okay. Well, that's about all I have on my scribbles somewhere. I don't even know where they've gone to. Does anyone have any other remarks? Things they've seen, things they'd like to conquer in the world.
I think we need to go on an adventure. You know, like you're talking about these adventures. Let's get a bunch of us and cram in a van and drive from like New York to San Francisco and have all kinds of adventures along the way.
Did you guys talk about hitchhiking?
Oh, I didn't, but that is okay.
Too
Well,
long?
sorry.
Too long?
No. I watched The Daily Show and Colbert, and I think it was on Colbert. There was a guy he interviewed. I can't remember his name, but he went hitchhiking across the United States, and it took him 9 days. And he's this sort of well-known comedian guy anyway, but no one really knew him because he's not really a recognizable person. I just want to get his name right. John Waters. I don't know if that rings any bells.
John Waters, the director of several like movies, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I met him.
Filmmaker. Oh,
I
cool.
met him. I did not give him a hug.
Oh
Did you give
no.
him a
No.
ride across the state?
He would be. Did you give him a ride? He would be someone who I would expect to engage in a hug. Um, yeah, this fellow.
Yes,
so,
yes.
So yeah, he was on Colbert. He was talking about how he hitchhiked across the United States. Had some really cool stories. He wrote a whole book about it called Car Sick right here, and he encouraged people to go hitchhiking. I know in some states, in some United States states, U.S. states, it's illegal. I've seen signs on the side of the road. I think in New York, where they say don't pick up hitchhikers or something. I don't know who gets in the more trouble, if you're the hitchhiker or the hitchhikee, the person that picks them up. But it does sound like fun. It's almost like Airbnb, but or couch surfing, but in a vehicle. And I guess a little sketchier, at least until some service comes about to be like, hey, I'm going to be hitchhiking at this point on the highway. Come pick me up. But I am very antsy to do some kind of adventure like that. I'm going to Australia at the end of this year for a few months, and I might be going to Mexico in January for a yoga retreat. That's just a week thing. And then there's South by Southwest and stuff. I need to travel more of the world because I've seen a lot of the United States. I still need to do the national park thing, like the Grand Canyon and Yosemite and everything, and the whole Northwest. It looks awesome. I've done Seattle and that, but not enough. But I would like to go on some kind of adventure. I know Dad's interested in going on like Route 66 or something, some kind of road trip like that.
66. That's good.
Yeah. So
Kickstarter. Throw it up on Kickstarter, and let's see what happens.
All right. Let me. What are the
TPAN tour.
Yeah. With Kickstarter.
Podcasting in a bus.
Do a show from every state.
Yeah. Well, it's really funny because I just saw. I think Grace Helbig something. Daily Grace from YouTube. I don't think that's her thing anymore because she changed, but her and someone else is doing something like that, going all around every state or something, and I think they're pretty much doing exactly what you described it. Not that we can't do it as well. I'm sure we could do it better because we're amazing. But yeah, when I see Kickstarters and I see like the beginning rewards and it's always like a T-shirt, I'm like, I have enough T-shirts. I mean, this is probably unique to me, but I go to conferences and I buy Johnny cupcakes. And it's like I have enough T-shirts. Okay, like yes, I want to support your thing, but I'm just trying to think of the benefits of. I mean, other than watching our great stuff and maybe meeting us and stuff.
No, they give you money, but they also come on the tour.
Yeah.
We'll pick you up
So you
in
have
Nebraska.
That's
You
a
have
great
about
idea.
10 bus loads.
Yeah. Get like a big Motley Crue bus. Make it work. Make it happen.
Yeah.
Like maybe we could also get a world record thing on it here, like the world's largest ride share or something.
We'll call it Border Patrol.
Border Patrol.
We'll run along the whole Mexican border, like picking up Mexicans or something. Well, I mean, back to, I think the same episode of This American Life, they had this thing about Mexicans and getting across the border. People in Mexico, like businesses, will go on like a company retreat, but instead of doing a company retreat, they go to these native Mexicans and they have this service where they pretend what it's like to go and get across the border, and the people who do it, they say they make it as realistic as possible, but it's nothing like the real thing. But they use like blank gunshots and like fake police and stuff, and like you're running across like these areas and of this vast, like you're running for a very long time, and they had this whole recording of like during the whole thing and explaining it. It's very interesting. Anyway, I am very eager to get go on some adventure like that. It's difficult. I know it's difficult for everyone, but it's difficult for me right now because I work out of an office, and it's like Monday to Friday kind of thing. And I see myself in a few years, perhaps getting an extended period of time off, or I don't know, making $1 million in Kickstarter and being able to fund myself that way. And doing some adventure like that. Like I know I have a friend that goes to Spain every year and does like a camp counseling thing, which would be really cool. I'm half learning Spanish with Danielle, so I might be able to do that in a couple of years. And then there's this other thing called woofing, like WOOFF, which is like working on farms, organic farms, something. And you work on a farm and you get room and board and food and stuff. Room and board is like the same thing. And that sounds like a lot of fun too. So there's a lot of things I want to do in different regions, especially some kind of road trip. So I know you guys with kids, unless you could bring the kids, maybe I guess during a summer break or something. Interesting. I'm gonna write this down on my list of ideas this long. But yeah, keep that in your little noggins, because that sounds like a really cool thing.
Throw that on the idea pile. Come back to it.
Yeah.
It's worth thinking about.
Like
Yeah.
That pile.
It's like the Pauly Shore tour of 2014, 2015.
He's probably available. We could probably get him, you know?
Can Vidler sponsor it? You can consult in every town.
I could see us becoming someone who could do that potentially, but at this point, no. Right now, we're focusing on getting a couple of really big products out, which is going to be exciting for people, by the way. I don't know how much I'm really supposed to mention, but there's some really cool new. There's some really cool new like subscriptions things and like basically, yeah, I don't know. We're not like Apple. We don't keep secrets like that, but we had a preview of it the other day. And it takes a lot to get me like super giddy and not be like critical about things. But I couldn't see anything that I needed to suggest to make it better. So I was like, this is great. I can't wait till this comes out. I think it's going to be like in a few months. But yeah, Vidla, I don't know, maybe at some point, because I do a lot of the making customers happy side of things, and if I just showed up at their doorstep, that might make them happy. I don't know. I don't know at this point. I could find other sponsors willing to give money and things. I mean, even this adventure, the team adventure thing, these Swedish guys, like, they just like, we're gonna go on this, and I think the money, besides all the stuff like the donations for the things they need to use during the trip, any like donation money goes to a specific charity, and I forget what the charity is that they chose, but it's not like they're profiting off it or anything. So I guess you can, yeah, I can't remember what the charity is, but yeah, I mean, we could even do something like that, like even whether it's Kickstarter or outside of Kickstarter.
You just live stream the whole thing, and then you just say, gosh, I'm really hungry. I think I'll have a Snickers.
I love it when, I don't know if you watch Colbert or Daily Show too much, but I love it when on Colbert he's really obvious with the sponsorships, and like he'll bring in a Bud Light or whatever they are, Bud Light Lime or
pays the bills.
Stuff. Yeah, they don't do it that often, which is nice. But when they do, it's obvious, but it's done tastefully, which is cool. One thing on the Daily Show, they're always dissing Arby's, but I just can't imagine that Arby's wouldn't be a sponsor because of the amount of attention they give it when they're like saying like, oh, Arby's sucks, rah rah rah. They put their logo up and say like, something is the Arby's of whatever their brand is.
Yeah.
And it's like the worst thing. So
Still puts
Um,
Arby's in your head, and then you might want some
Yeah,
roast beef
Arby's
the
is
next
definitely
day.
one of those places that I'd make a point not to go to, but I don't really go to any fast food places in general. So it is in my head though, and I am talking about it right now, which is probably selling it. So
Free advertising for them. It's
yeah,
all part of the
damn it.
plan.
Viacom. um, but I would be happy to chomp a Snickers on camera. See, the live stream thing, I think the whole intention of me coming to the United States in 2008 was I'm going to do a live cast because the United States has unlimited broadband, wireless, broadband, this and that. And this, when I was traveling around, they're like, no, sorry, it's going to be a gig. Oh, okay, well, that doesn't help. And that wasn't even when 4G was around, and like Justine was doing that and all this stuff, and it looked awesome. Something that I didn't think to write down, but and it's kind of too late to really mention anything. It might not be. So many of you may remember, beginning of the year, Vidler, we removed a lot of personal accounts, which includes a lot of videos and stuff. Some people, special people, all in this chat got their accounts kept, but they were like super duper grandfathered from the early days. And Justin.tv did something similar. They announced it, I don't know, like a month or two beforehand, similar to what Vidler did. But so Justin TV isn't shutting down. They're definitely focusing on Twitch and some of the other things that they're doing now. But they said they're going to remove all archives. And I thought I had a ton of archives. I think I only ended up having like 40, which I think were like clips of the live streams. Like people could clip them, or I could clip them myself. And so I tried downloading them. It didn't work. So I contacted their support, and they managed to. It was really lame, but I had to go and get every link to every clip, and then give them the link, and then they would give me a file link, like .flv, because everything was in Flash back then. And so I downloaded those files. So the cutoff, I think, was June 15th or something. I asked them and I said, hey, like on June 15th, is everything getting purged? And they said, nah, we'll see. And that's sort of like what Vidler did. We didn't just purge everyone on the date, but we, in case someone was like, didn't check their email, which I don't check my email enough to see these things. Like Dad, I know, was sad about SpringPad dying recently. So I managed to keep some of my archives from Justin TV. I don't even know. I haven't even looked at them yet. But if you did use Justin TV and you maybe want to see if you have any archives, I would just contact their support and see if they can give it to you. Just a little PSA. Yeah.
Okay. They should be able to handle that. They're rich enough now.
True. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's all I have. Before I think of something else, I should probably wrap this up. Does anyone want to mention things that they do, services that they create, things to make them money, or go eat cake at this particular place? Well, it looks like Brandon just...
Yeah, he just took off. I think he had to go back to Home Depot.
Let's go watch fireworks.
Someone, Gyro, I don't know when they asked this, I just noticed that there's a few messages in the Q&A. So someone named, maybe it's Hero, Gyro Hero, said, what are you talking about? What is TPAN? So I think I mentioned a little earlier, but it's basically a podcast that I do, and I just talk about, that's the pod show about nothing. I just don't really talk about anything in particular. So yeah, if you go back and watch this, you will just see a whole bunch of shenanigans of us just talking about all kinds of things that were on our mind recently. So that's what TPAN is. And then someone else said here, so I'll do done on that one. Okay. Someone said you can buy swank at the airport, but probably shouldn't read it on the plane. I don't know if that's I don't know what that I don't know what that means. I don't even know what that's in reference to. I don't remember talking about planes or magazines or anything, or if that even is a magazine.
They joined the wrong hangout.
Possibly, Jason. I'm sorry, you're in the wrong hangout. Brandon said, lost my connection. Sorry, nice chatting with you all. Thank you, Brandon. It was great having you. And as everyone knows, Brandon is awesome. He just messaged me on Twitter too. So yeah, I don't know what to check him out on. I don't know what he might have a YouTube thing. Everything will be linked up once this is done. Any final words, friends?
When's the next one?
Now I aim for weekly. I aim for weekly Saturday nights. Friday, Saturday nights work best. Sometimes I try and accommodate for the European crowd and do it more during the day, like a morning Eastern US time, so it's like an afternoon London, Europe time. So yeah, try and do it weekly. I've missed a couple of months just because of all kinds of crazy stuff, and it's one of those things with any kind of media creation is if you do it regularly and you're on a roll, you're on a roll. If you stop for a bit, it doesn't happen again for 2 years. So yeah, I try and keep it as regular as possible so that I actually keep doing it. And so that people go, hey, when's the next one? And I'm like, okay, yes, yeah, okay. Okay, yes. So yeah, hopefully next week I might be out here in New York seeing Manhattan Henge, which is when the sun lines up with the grid of New York City and you get really cool shadows and streaks down for like 2 minutes. And it's pretty cool. I might be here to see that. I don't know. Weather depending. Yeah. So, but I always try and make the event invite as soon as I know. So I could do it now, but as you maybe saw over the past week or so, I meant to do it last week, and then I changed it to this week, and then I changed the time again. And apparently each time it emails people, so I'm probably flooding people's email boxes, and they're like, I'm done with email because of Derek. So, hopefully it goes to like their promotions tab or something.
Will you be bringing your mustache next week?
It could be a little bit different. I like to change it up a bit, but I will do my best. Yeah,
What's
in the coming weeks. Well, you can't do it on the phone, but it's a. Let me quickly share my screen here.
It's a feather.
Oh, it's a feather. Okay.
Oh! I thought you meant the most. So can I not look at myself?
Oh no, feedback.
Wait.
That'll be good.
Infinity.
Right, I can't look at myself if I'm screen sharing myself. Okay, that's a paradox. Anyway, yeah, there's this drawing tool where you can draw stuff and you can put stamps on things, and there's all like, I don't know.
No, I know, but it's just one little thing hanging off you. But that's not a feather.
Right, okay. Yeah, it's a feather, and
he's embracing his Native American roots.
Yeah, I just like scribbled something really bad here. I don't know what's. I got dots. I got whatever. Cool. Well, thank you everyone. This went awesome as usual. So thanks for chatting and everything. I will write the show notes at some point in the YouTube video, and yeah, there'll be a lot of links to look at if you were curious about anything we chatted about. Until next time, thank you. And
Happy 4th.
Happy 4th of July, yeah, it's now the 5th, it's 5th. 1 a.m., so good times.
I think
Thanks
I missed all the fireworks.
I appreciate everyone joining in. Thanks for your time.
See you.
Goodbye.
Bye.